So today we are taking our second tutorials on sets, and under that we are going to have addition and subtraction of sets. Okay, so here when you want to add or subtract sets, it's only like sets that can be added or be subtracted. Okay, so let's take for instance 2 root 3 and 5 root 3. So we can say that 2 root 3 and 5 root 3 are like sets. Why are they like? Because they have the same number in the square roots. Okay, so now let's look at how to add and subtract sets. So examples: add the following sets. So number 1 is going to be 5 root 7 plus 2 root 7. Okay, so solution. Now we can add 5 root 7 and 2 root 7, since they have the same number, which is 7 in the square root. So by the third law, this says m root a plus n root a. So if you have the same number in the square root, what do? You pick the numbers outside the square root and you add. So here we are going to have m plus n. Then we pick one of the square root, which is it's a. So the same thing applies here. So here we are going to have 5 plus 2. Then we pick one of the square root, which is 7. So 5 plus 2 gives 7. Then you are going to have 7 root 7. Okay. Now let's take our next example. So our next example is going to be 4 root 3 plus 3 root 3. Okay, so here we have the same, 4 root 3 plus 3 root 3. So here we have the same number in the square root, which is 3. So it means these sets are like, so we can add. So how do we add it? We pick the numbers outside the square root and add. So numbers outside the square root are 4 and 3. So you add them, then you pick one of the square roots, which is 3. So 4 plus 3 is going to give us 7, and you get 7 root 3. Okay. Let's take our next example. Example number 3. And this is going to be 9 root 5 plus 4 root 5. So here we have the same numbers in the square root. So what do? We add the numbers outside the square root, which are 9 and 4. Then we pick one of the square roots, which is root 5. So 9 plus 4 will give us 13. Now then you get 13 root 5. Okay. Let's move on to the next example. So our next example is going to be example 4, which is root 2 plus 4 root 2 plus 3 root 2. Okay. So let's take for instance we have what? A plus what? 2b. Now a, we all know that what? The coefficient of a is what? 1. Taking m plus 3c, the coefficient of 1 is what? Coefficient of m is what? 1. So the same thing applies to what? The set. So when you have no number in front of a set, it means the coefficient of that set is what? 1. Okay. So here it simply means our coefficient here is what? 1. Okay. So root 2 plus 4 root 2 plus 3 root 2 is going to give us, we are adding the numbers outside the square root. So here there's number outside the square root will be what? 1. Then plus what? 4 plus what? 3. Then you pick one of the square roots, which is what? 2. So 1 plus 4 gives 5 plus 3, then you get what? 8 what? Root 2. Okay. Okay, so let's take our next example. So our next example, which is example number 5, is going to be three root 5 plus 4 root 5 plus 6 root 5. Okay. So they are like sets. 3 root 5 plus 4 root 5 plus 6 root 5. Okay. So here, since they are like, it means we cannot add. So what do? We add the numbers outside the square root, which are what? 3 and 4 and what? 6. Then you pick one of the square roots, which is what? Root 5. So here 3 plus 4 gives 7 plus 6, then you get what? 13 what? Root 5. Okay. Okay. So now let's take exercise. Now under this we have simplify the following. Then number 1 is root 20 plus root 80 plus root 45. Okay. Okay, so when you have questions of such nature, so here we have root 20, root 80, root 40, root 45. So before we can add, we have to break each of them into what? Its simplest form. Okay, so let's take root 20. Root 20. So we are going to break 20 down using what? The product of prime, or let's use the factors tree. So 20 dividing 20 by the prime numbers, starting from 2. So we are going to get what? 2 going into 20 to give us what? 10. Now 2 is a prime number, 10 is not a prime number. So let's break 10 down. We are going to have what? 2 and what? 5. Here our 2 is prime number, 5 is also what? A prime number. Okay, so it means root 20 is going to give us what? Root 2 times root 2 times what? Root 5. Now by the first law, root 2 times root 2 gives what? 2. Then what? Root what? 5. So this simply means when root 20 is breaking down, is broken down, we are going to get what? 2 with what? 5. Then let's break with 80 also. So we have 80. So we are going to get what? 2 multiplying what? 40. 2 is a prime number, this is not a prime number. So let's break it down. We are going to get what? 2 and 20. Let's break 20 down to get 5. We are going to get what? 2 and what? 10. Then this is also going to give us 2 and what? 5. So it means root 80 is going to give us what? Root 2 times what? Root 2 times root 2 times root 2 times what? Root 5. Now by the first law, root 2 times root 2 gives us what? 2. We are also going to have root 2 again multiplying root 2, which is also going to give us what? Root 2. Then times what? Your root what? 5. So 2 times 2 gives what? 4. Then you get what? 4 root 5. So this also means when root 80 is broken down, we are going to get what? 4 root what? 5. And plus, let's break root 45 also down. So 45, we are going to get what? 2 can't go into 45. 3, so we move on to 3. And 3 times 15 will give us what? 45. This is a prime number, this is not a prime number. Let's break it down to get prime numbers. So we are going to have what? 3 times what? 3 and what? 5. So this means root 45 can also be written as what? Root 3 times root 3 times root 5. Now by the first law, our root 3 times root 3 is going to give us what? 3. Then you get what? Root what? 5. So this also means when root 45 is broken down, we are going to get what? 3 root what? 5. Now they are in their simplest form, so we can what? Add. How do we add? We add the numbers outside the square root, then we pick what? One of the square roots. So we are going to have what? Our 2 plus 4 plus what? 3. Then you pick one of the square roots, which is what? 5. So 2 plus 4 gives what? 6 plus 3, then you get what? 9 with what? 5. Okay, so this is how to go about what? Such questions. Okay. Now let's take number 2. So number 2, we are going to have simplify with 12 plus root 27 plus root 48. Okay. So here we go by the same method by what? Simplifying each set. So we begin with what? 12. So 12 we are going to have what? 2 times 6. This is a prime number, this is not a prime number. Let's break it down. So we are going to have what? 2 and 3. So it simply means root 12 can also be written as what? Root 2 times root 2 times root 3. By the first law, root 2 times root 2 gives what? 2 root what? 3. So this means when root 12 is broken down, we are going to have what? 2 root 3. Now let's break root 27 now. So root 27. So 27, let's divide by the prime numbers. So here 2 can't go into 27. So you start with what? 3. Now 3 can go into 27. How many times? 9. This is a prime number, this is not. So let's break it down. We are going to have what? 3 and what? 3. So it simply means root 27 can also be written as root 3 times root 3 times root 3. This is going to give us what? by the first law, we are going to have root 3 multiplying with 3, which is what? 3 times what? Root 3. So it means root 27 can also be broken down to get what? 3 root 3. And the last one, which is 48. Let's break 48 down. So 48, we start with 2. We are going to get 2 and what? 24. There is prime number. There is not. So we break it down. We are going to have 2 and what? 12. There is prime number. There is not. So we are going to break it down to get what? 2 and 6. There is prime. There is not. So we break it down to get what? 2 and 3. Now this means root 48 can be written as what? Root 2 times root 2 times root 2 times root 2 times what? Root 3. Okay. So by the first law, root 2 times root 2 gives what? 2. Root 2 times root 2 also gives us what? 2. Then we have what? Root 3. So 2 by 2 gives what? 4. Then root what? 3. So this also means when root 48 is broken down, we are going to get what? 4 root 3. Now since they are in their simplest form, we cannot add. So we are going to have what? R2 plus 3 plus 4 what? Root 3. So 2 plus 2 gives 5 plus 4, then you get what? 9 root what? 3. Okay.